Just some housekeeping items. We're muting all participants on entry, but following the presentation, you can unmute yourself if by raising your hand if you have questions. You can also type questions in the chat button. Into the chat box. I'm very excited to welcome today's presenter, Dr. Kendra Ray, PhD, MPH, MBA. She's assistant research professor at NYU Langone, dementia program director at the Menorah Center, a licensed creative arts therapist and researcher. She also teaches music therapy to undergraduate and graduate students at Montclair State University and New Paltz. Kendra has a passion for providing music therapy and music-based interventions for people with dementia and their caregivers, which she has done for more than 2 decades. So she'll be presenting on Music Makes a Happy Home. And at the end, a post-seminar survey will pop up. Please complete this as it helps us to gauge how learner homes are going and aids and suggestions for the future. So take it away.
Thank you so much, Zena. So as she mentioned, I am a music therapist. I've been working for more than 20 years, and currently I am at work in the nursing home, so there could be interruptions. Just want to give you a heads up on that. The place that I am working is in Brooklyn. It's in South Brooklyn at Menorah Center for Nursing and Rehabilitation. So I thought it would be nice to start off by talking about music therapy and what is it. Music therapy is the therapeutic use of music by a certified or licensed music therapist who will have objectives and goals to fulfill. So music therapy is different from just listening to music. To be recognized as therapy, it must be provided by a credentialed music therapist. And the profession did begin in the 1940s, around the time that many people were coming back from war, as many other professions began in the United States. It is a credentialed profession, meaning that people need to take a test following at least a 4-year education in order to become board certified. And the CBMT does hold that board certification in the United States. In places like New York and New Jersey, a person must have at least a master's degree in music therapy in order to become licensed. And music therapists do focus on things like communication and memory and helping to improve behaviors and hopefully facilitating relationships between the therapist and the caregiver and the person with dementia. So how is music therapy used for people with Alzheimer's disease or related dementia? I put some words on the screen that, I thought of immediately when I was thinking about this presentation. And I do think that there's a lot of connection that occurs due to things like singing. I see a lot of laughter and joy that can be helpful or that does occur with many people, improve mood, reduce anxiety, reduce depression, etc. So there are many benefits, but in my practice specifically, my team and I focus on helping people with ADRD to reduce depressive and agitation symptoms, which are really, really common in people who have Alzheimer's disease or other dementias. And then also trying to help caregiving a more enjoyable task, and that's for both paid caregivers and family caregivers. And there are other benefits like improving well-being, improving communication and speech, and reducing anxiety. And for some people, music does cause an awakening. So music can positively impact our brain. We know this. There's more research being done all the time that is showing the impacts of music on the brain of both the person who doesn't have Alzheimer's disease and then, just a normal, healthy individual. So there was a study that was published by AARP a couple of years ago in 2020 that showed that music helped people to remember names by just listening to background music. So while putting the slides together, I did listen to music. So let's see if it's going to help with my memory. But seriously, people who listen to music during everyday activities, like listening to music in the car, during exercise, and while reading, they reported that they were able to remember names more easily. And they also reported that they had better brain health most of the time. You can see it here at 62% of the time. So music taste do vary by race and ethnicity. And I like to point out that, it goes a little bit deeper than that. My sister and I grew up in the same household. Obviously, we have the same ethnicity, but we don't like the same music. She lives right now she's living in a southern state, and, she's always sending me popular songs that she hears on the radio that move her. And most of the time it's country. And that isn't necessarily the type of music that I like. But you can see from the AARP survey that they did sort of survey the types of music that are most listened to according to race and ethnicity. And when you're providing music for an individual who has dementia, it's really important to know the kinds of music that they like. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So it used to be thought that music is processed only on, one part of the brain or one side of the brain. And we found that that's not necessarily the case, that music is actually processed all over the brain. You can see from the picture that the sensory cortex is stimulated, the prefrontal cortex, you can see it says that it controls behavior and expression and decision making. The auditory cortex is where you hear music, and if you're playing music, you might stimulate the visual cortex. So the brain is very active in its responses to both listening and to hearing music. And it can improve sleep. Music can improve sleep, reduce stress, and boost mood. And the survey from ARP again did find that it helps to improve quality of life and also to help lower levels of anxiety and depression. So I wanted to just touch really quickly on the preservation theory, because for so many years there were music therapists and neurologists who thought that people with dementia could still process music. And but the theory is that the part of the brain that processes music is preserved even until the very end of life. And even if you have severe dementia, people thought that people were still processing and able to listen to and feel music. But in the 1990s, there were case studies that were written by Oliver Sacks, and he found that people who had trouble with common activities of daily living, like buttoning your shirt or eating, they still could play the piano or sing whole phrases to songs. And in my clinical work, I see this every day. There are so many people who are living in the nursing home who can't necessarily take care of themselves, but they can sing. They can sing a lot of them whole songs, some of them phrases to songs, and it's really, really encouraging. So in 2009, this went a little bit further with a researcher named Peter Janata. He found that by looking at fMRIs, that the part of the brain that stores long-term memories were preserved in people with Alzheimer's disease. And this really started to show us that the preservation theory was accurate. Okay, I'm going to put my mask on because one of my staff members is joining me. Oh, okay. I just have a couple more slides. Okay. So just to talk about the musical brain a little bit. So people with memory loss can remember different types of music. And the brain does process music differently. For example, in the amygdala, this is where the brain shows emotion. We can see emotion that is showed in the area. And in the prefrontal cortex, when you hear a song, this is the part of the brain that sort of makes you react by snapping your feet or tapping your toes. And the hippocampus stores and records our musical memories. So I'm going to skip forward just a little bit, since Peter is here. Right after this video, he's telling me to show the video. In the video, this is a video of that I saw online. I said, you know what, I have to show this video. This is a woman who has dementia, but she is still able to play the piano very beautifully. I'll play you just a little bit of this video. And here's a nocturne. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure. Sina, are you able to hear the music?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay.
We can hear.
Okay.
Nocturne is a French word for night.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. The first time I saw it, I was so amazed and fascinated. So I know many of you are here to find out, well, how can I use music at home? I'm not trying to make anyone into a music therapist, but there are some music-based interventions that I think everyone can use. So music-based interventions can be provided by a paid caregiver, or a family caregiver, and these include singing, music with movements, and creating playlists. But I thought, let's start off by making a song, rewriting a song. Okay, Peter, you can come. So I just want, while I'm skipping through the slides, which I'll come back to, I just want to introduce you to Peter Davis, who's standing behind me, or sitting behind me. And he uses songwriting a lot. And he gave me a really beautiful example yesterday of how he is using songwriting with one of his veterans. I'll let him tell you about it. But first, let me just tell you why you might decide to use songwriting. There is some research that shows that, by Penn Baker, that shows that writing itself can reduce cortisol levels. And we also know from the research that singing can reduce cortisol levels. And cortisol is a biomarker for stress. So if you reduce your cortisol, you'll feel, hopefully you'll feel better. So I thought we would try a couple of songs. The first one, Peter's already written, and then if there's anyone who wants to help rewrite the second one, I'll ask for you to volunteer. So one way to rewrite a song is just find a familiar song and take out some words. And you can do this either on your own, or you can do it with the person that you are caring for. It's a really great activity. So Peter rewrote this one yesterday.
I did, and I didn't exactly write it exactly according to your, your example, but I have found it doesn't really matter, because if you provide some familiarity, some structure, but then maybe throwing in some new ideas, then it shows us really we're still thinking, we're learning. We have familiar, but we're learning new stuff right on the spot. And could be fun, you know? And by the way, as I said to one of our folks here at Menorah this morning, don't we have fun together? We have fun together. And that's kind of the thing. We have fun together. You know, it's a motivation.
Yeah.
So should we sing the song?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Um,
How much is that turtle in the window? The one with the colorful shell. How much is the turtle in the window? I sure think that turtle is swell.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Simple,
Very simple.
simple tempo, easy, not cluttered, and easy presentation. So it's, what would you say? It's a limited amount of information.
Mhm.
And, you know, so we're working for success a little bit at a time.
Right. So before we go on to the next slide, do you mind sharing, no,
No, I don't.
Okay.
The one about yesterday?
yeah,
I also work with a wonderful veterans program called Healing Our Heroes, with a bunch of wonderful folks who have served in the various Navy, Air Force, Marine, Army, Special Forces, etc. And they've all really, they have their challenges, you know, and PTSD and a lot, of course, along with PTSD, we have memory. There's a lot of memory challenges. And one of our vets, who's a very talented singer and a percussionist and plays nice guitar, about 2 weeks ago we have a weekly group, we play an ensemble weekly on Saturdays. She came in with an idea for a song. I don't want to get too much into the details, but and the song was, and this actually matters. The song at that point is still in G major, F sharp, and but it was the theme was I'm feeling whole again rather than scattered and apart. And for this person, that's a big deal. And she told me and all of us the story that she said, this is a person with a lot of chronic anxiety. I mean, sometimes really disabling. And long story short, she said that the idea came to her, and she's not a prolific songwriter. This might be one of her only songs, I don't know. And she said it just flowed out of her like a river. And she said, and it was one of the most freeing experiences, and she felt so relaxed forward after that. And she said, there's a line in the song that she says, how good it is to feel whole. So what I did for her, and I'm not going to play it here, she said, but it's not quite there. So I did my kind of, you know, Peter guitar thing, and I went like, da, 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 and I kind of gave it an instant structure. And she went like this, wow, because suddenly our ideas, they're here, but we're hearing them now come to life.
right.
You know, and it's pretty exciting.
Yes, that's a great example. Thank you, Peter. So I'm hoping if there's one or two people there who want to try to give their ideas or words that they like to fill in the blank with. If not, Peter and I will try to do it here. But does anyone want to say or add a word? Did you ever know, or did you ever blank that you're my blank? Does anyone want to fill in a word here? For now, I'm gonna write just the word no. And I think, Peter, you wrote, did you ever know that you're
This is exactly what I wrote. I kept the first two lines only because they're so familiar.
so we're gonna say, did you ever know that you're my?
You
hear
know,
it.
and it's so familiar and it's such a strong sentiment.
Okay,
Um,
and then the next line was just,
here's what I wrote this
Okay.
morning. Should I just,
yeah,
okay.
tell me.
In all of the, and again, I didn't go according to your guidelines. I went a
Mhm.
little bit differently, but it's pretty close. In all of the ways you show you care.
Okay, I'm gonna
In all
write
of the
it.
many, or you could say, no, I rewrote it. I actually, Kendra, I rewrote that. In all of the many ways you care.
Okay,
All of the many ways you
okay. What's the next
care. Then I
line?
wrote, I'm telling you now, yes, you're my hero.
Oh, nice.
I'm telling you now, I'm telling you
Mhm.
now, yes, you're my hero. I'm telling you now, you're my hero.
Kind of a mess, sorry about it. And then,
Whatever my needs, you're always there. Or you could say, whatever I need, you're always there. That might be even better, actually. Whatever I need, you're always there. It's the same thing, but nonetheless. Whatever I need makes it very first person, you know?
yeah,
It's a very intimate message.
I love it. I hope everybody can read it.
Should I sing it?
Yeah, that's great.
Did you ever know you're my hero? All of the many ways you care. Telling you now, yes, you're my hero. Whatever I need, you're always there. Something like that.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thanks so much. And everyone should know that Peter is playing the guitar, but it's absolutely possible to sing the song with just your voice. Your
Yeah,
voice,
you don't need, you just need yourself.
yes, absolutely. Thank you, Peter. I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
to-
See ya. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. Thank you, Dr. Kendra.
Thank you,
Okay, see you
too.
later.
Okay, so I skipped a couple of slides. I hope that that was helpful for someone. I'm gonna go back. I guess I need to figure out how to remove the words. Let me get back first. Okay. So other than songwriting, another way to provide music at home is to create personalized playlists. And I really do believe this is true because we have been doing it, especially during the pandemic. We used music listening a lot in people's rooms. And I do believe that it does and can fill the gap when music therapy is missing. Everyone doesn't have access to a music therapist, and I understand that. And playlists can reduce feelings of agitation and contribute to well-being and improve a person's mood. So currently we're using, as you can see in the picture, we're using speakers. That little black device is a Bluetooth speaker with iPods, and we're creating personalized playlists on using Spotify. So it really can be a safe place, offer a safe place and reduce some restlessness and make people feel like they're not lonely. So just wanted to offer some tips if you decide to create a playlist. Really explore the person's history through song choices. We know that music that is best for people who have memory loss or any type of dementia is to use songs that was popular when they were in their 20s or 30s. And really to be mindful of their cultural preferences as well. As you can see in this example on the right, this is an example of a playlist that we're currently using with someone here, and she is Spanish speaking. So she likes Celia Cruz and Mark Anthony. And one of her favorite songs is Besame Mucho. If you're not able to access Spotify, I recommend that you think about or using something like YouTube as well, because YouTube allows you for free to go on and to create playlists for individuals. And there is a link to at the bottom of this sample playlist if you're interested. So I have a really blank page here, and I'm going to open up again if anyone would like to raise their hand and offer assistance with me filling in this playlist. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you that one of my favorite artists is Bill Withers. If anyone has one to add, please let me know. I know that here a lot of people like Frank Sinatra and the Beatles. And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to talk about using singing and also favorite songs that you might think about dancing to. So I would definitely consider, what are some upbeat songs that makes the person motivated? And as you can see here, I have the twist. For someone else, it actually might be Hava Nagila. A favorite sing-along song for many years for lots of our residents is You Are My Sunshine. But the person that you are caring for, they might have something completely different. So it's really important, as you're thinking about creating playlists, to keep in mind, like, what did mom used to sing to? What did I hear her singing to when she was cleaning the house? What did I hear her listening to when she and mom were dancing or dad were dancing together? What songs did they dance to? So you want to keep it in mind, not necessarily like what you want, but definitely what the person historically liked to listen to. So I have here an expanded version of songs or playlists that you might actually create. And there's one person who was in my group, and he told me that in the evening, helping his wife to relax was to use love songs. And so I know that he told me that he's using those every evening now. He made a playlist with their favorite love songs in there. Other songs that are useful for singing and are useful for reminiscence that you might make a playlist for are favorite childhood songs or folk songs. For many people, religious songs are really important. I know for my mom, her playlist contains religious songs. So just one thing to really, really consider is to be intentional, when you are creating playlists, like name your playlist. For example, you might have a playlist for sundowning, or you might have a playlist for bath or shower time. And set a daily listening timer. If the person really you feel like needs music in the morning, make sure every morning for 15 minutes or half an hour that you're playing their favorite music. Or if it's in the evening because they're having trouble sleeping, you might do that. But it's really important to be intentional and consistent, and be mindful that you're making it for the person that you're caring for based on their musical preferences. So I just wanted to mention singing. Singing is the #1 researched music-based intervention for people who have memory loss and dementia. And there's a nice article called, is it the singer or the singing? The author, her name was Felicity Baker. She found that it didn't matter whether it was a music therapist or a family caregiver or a paid caregiver or a friend who was singing. It was actually just as impactful, regardless of whether or not the person was trained as a singer. So singing can be really, really helpful because as you can see on the slide, it helps to stimulate language. A lot of people, after they sing a song that is familiar to them, we notice will start talking. Many people who had not talked for years, we've seen them begin either to sing or to, after the song is done, to start to have conversations. And because it stimulates memories, and lots of people say, oh, you know, I remember that song. I heard that when I was in Italy, or when I was traveling with my wife to Spain, or, you know, when we played it, you know, during the wedding time. And it does, singing can release happy endorphins and can act as a natural stress reliever, and can offer an opportunity or a situation where a person can express their feelings. And people feel connected, you know, after they sing together. If you are a caregiver and you're singing for a person who you love or who you're caring for, that's a really intimate time when you are singing to them. So it can definitely facilitate social connections. So I wanted to show you just an example of a paid caregiver who is not a singer, who is singing with one of the residents who's living here now. And I do have permission to use this video from his daughter, but let me just play it and then I'll talk a little bit about it. It's just a couple of minutes. Il me l'a dit, là je vais pour la vie. Quand il est sorti de mon cœur, il me l'a découvert. Je vois la vie rose. C'est lui pour moi, pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, là je vais pour la vie. Okay, so that was, if you knew the person who was singing, the resident, you would be so amazed and impressed with him, because he doesn't talk much to people. And that moment was really, really precious between him and the nursing assistant. So I just wanted to mention again to think about, if you're providing music, that it is culturally relevant to the person. For some people, that's Frank Sinatra, that's singing something like My Way. We do have people from all over the world, so we try to include songs from Italy and Russia, and France, and from Haiti. So just being mindful of the music that was culturally and historically relevant is really important. So when should you sing? A lot of people want to know, well, you know, I know I should sing, but when? When getting dressed. A lot of people have difficulty getting motivated in the morning and singing while getting dressed. I'm sure lots of you probably sing in the shower. So why not use it when you are helping another person bathe or to shower? Sing then. It can calm both the person who has memory loss and the person who is caring for them, and it can help distract from uncomfortable situations. So I know singing isn't for everybody. So if you happen to play a musical instrument, I think it's a great idea to implement that, and why not try improvisation? This video is from Dr. David Schroeder, who's the chair of NYU Steinhardt, and he shared this video with me of him and his mom. And I thought it was so telling because as you'll see in the video, even if the person doesn't have words or you feel like you don't have words, using music is a great way to communicate non-verbally through gestures and through movements. But let's see if we can check out this really, really short video.
Okay, we're gonna improvise here.
If you happen to know David, tell him thank you. So we already talked about rewriting a song. Another really great thing to try at home is moving to music. And you can use your favorite music for this. Usually I tell people to start out with a slower paced music, especially if the person is already kind of settled, and then move the tempo up to sort of medium pace to fast, but then don't forget to come back down again if you're using movement a lot. It's really important to check for pain and to ask for if the person has any discomfort before using movement. But you can see in this video 35. As I was saying, you can see in this video that a really simple movement can be very effective, and you don't have to stand up in order to do it. Conducting is really, really a great movement to use, and then you can have the person mirror you as well using your hand, simple movements. If you feel like the individual that you're working with or caring for isn't interested in moving, I suggest, looking at YouTube or checking out other videos of some of their favorite dancers. I think that really motivates a lot of people to get moving. So some benefits of using music with movement is that it can focus restless energy. I know many times there are people who have dementia who become very restless and agitated, and we found that adding movement really does help to focus that energy. It can stimulate memories. People will remember dancing during their childhood, or it can just stimulate memories unrelated to the movement that you're doing as well. We found that happens. It can change and improve mood. And if you're in a situation that's sort of uncomfortable, adding movement along with music can help change that feeling or that situation. And when words fail, especially if a person is towards the end stage dementia, a lot of times communication is not there, but we found that even though people aren't able to communicate verbally, they are able to communicate through movement. And I just wanted to add that it's definitely an accessible activity for people who have dementia. Take a musical stroll. I talked about, adding music and how it brings up memories. But for some people who need to sort of get out of the environment, if it's too cluttered or if it's too loud, we found that just taking them for a stroll towards the window or outside and bringing along a favorite piece of music or just singing really quietly, a favorite piece of music can help the situation as well. I wanted to just end, well, this, I'm not ending, but this is the final video that I'll be showing you. This couple is a daughter and a father, and Stephanie is the daughter. I talked to her this morning and made sure I had permission to use her video. One of the things that she does with her dad is singing, but then they also dance together. And I thought it would be nice for you to see how dancing can really be an impactful intervention at home.
All right, anytime you wanna be filmed in, stick that thing on.
Okay, I think you have the idea. They're smiling. In this moment, you don't really see any deficits because they're both able to dance and be together and share a nice moment and a nice new memory. So I just wanted to conclude with just a couple last items. I know that, I was a family caregiver for my dad, along with my mom and my sister, and it can definitely be isolating. And so I encourage you to try a couple of things if you're not already, use music to connect with friends and family. If you're creating playlists for yourself or even the person that you're caring for, share your playlist. A lot of times people get a kick out of hearing the songs that you're listening to. And encourage your friends or your family to share your playlist with you. Watch a concert online or go to one. The research does show that live music is very therapeutic for both people who have dementia and those who do not. It can help to release or reduce stress. If you have time, learn to play an instrument or pick up the one that you used to play, dance with your friends or family, or as I encouraged you in the beginning, write a new song. It can help to reduce stress. And finally, I just wanted to tell you, if you feel like a lot of these things are difficult or you've tried them already, try again. It's really important to create a routine. And I've outlined in this sort of page that you can see on the screen, a sample daily schedule for someone. And if you email me, I would not mind sending this particular routine with you. But it's definitely really important to know, when is the time that music should be used the most? Is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Is it all day long? And if so, to have a plan on how you can use music. So if you want to learn more, if you feel like you need more, I am conducting a study where I'm teaching family caregivers how to use music at home. If you're interested in joining the study, you can visit the website that you see there's mjhs.org/study. If you feel like you'd like to have a music therapist, you saw Peter. I think that music therapy has a lot to to bring, and I think that it can be very helpful for some people who feel like, you know what, music is nice, but I think I need a little bit more than that. You can visit the cbmt.org and you can just go to the website and find a music therapist that's in your area. And finally, here's my contact information. And I do have a QR code here. I mean, if you'd like to read more about some music-based tips for caregivers, for family caregivers, I wrote an article and you're welcome to check it out. So thank you. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.